To make sure that this spray gets on the lug nuts and not on the brake pads, try using the top of this plastic bottle as a funnel. To make sure that these two pieces of wood are level, use a hammer and a screw to hold the boards in place while we attach the two pieces together. Wrapping the wire around the terminal like this isn't going to hold. Instead, we'll remove some of the plastic from the end of the wire like usual. Then, we'll cut an additional piece of plastic and move it to the end of the wire. Now wrap the wire around the terminal back on itself and then tighten it back down. We're having a hard time removing this bolt with these pliers. We can make our own DIY socket wrench. Insert a same-size bolt into a pipe and then hammer on all sides until the pipe matches the shape of the bolt. Now we can use this to loosen the original bolt. Here's an interesting trick to make pocket holes. Drill a large hole in the center of the stud and then 3 pilot holes inside of it. Then, drill the screws into the pilot holes to attach the two pieces together. For our next project, we'll be modifying these pliers to turn them into brick tongs. We'll start by cutting off a couple strips of metal and then welding the larger piece to the handle and the smaller piece to the jaws. Secure the longer handle into the vise and bend it to a right angle. Now we can comfortably carry bricks. Sometimes it can be impossible to fill a larger bucket with water because it just won't fit into the sink. In these cases, we can attach foam tubing to the faucet and then place the other end of the foam tubing into the bucket which we set on the floor. Now we'll be making a DIY sandblaster. We'll first need to cut out a hole from this pipe and flatten one end. Next, we'll need 2 bottle caps. We'll cut out a section on the top of this bottle cap that's the same width as the pipe so that it can fit inside. We'll drill a hole into the other bottle cap and then screw the 2 caps together. Place the pipe through the incision and then line up the 2 holes. Fill the bottom cap with hot glue. Next, we can fill this bottle with sand and attach it to the bottle cap. Now with an air compressor, our sandblaster can clean our tools. If we've lost the caps to these nozzles on our glue bottles, we can just use drywall anchors as a substitute. This is called a marlin spike hitch, and we can use it to make a rope ladder. We'll wrap the rope around the rung 3 times, and then wrap the middle loop around the back. We can do this on both sides of each rung to make a rope ladder. To undo the hitch, just pull it off and it will come undone. Now let's make a modification to our soldering iron. We'll remove the tip and secure it in a vise. Then we'll cut off the tip with a hacksaw and make a vertical incision. We'll then cut a snap blade into the shape of an X-Acto knife blade and attach it into the incision. Now we can heat up our blade to make our cuts. We need to make a new handle for our screwdriver. We can make one using hot glue and baking soda. Heat up the hot glue and the baking soda together using a heat gun. Mix everything together until it forms a thick paste. As it cools, mold the handle onto the shank until the paste cools to a hard plastic handle. Driving screws into wood can be a bit difficult if the screw is long enough. We can add a bit of WD-40 to make the job easier. To fasten these 2 pieces of wood together, we'll drill 2 pilot holes at a 45-degree angle. Then we'll install wood screws to secure the post. If our outlet's hanging too loose, we can add pieces of scrap wood into the outlet box to better secure the outlet. Now when we reinstall the outlet plate, it doesn't budge. We can use some steel wire to wrap around this tubing to secure it to this fitting. Wrap the wire with the screwdriver until the excess falls off. For our next DIY project, we'll be making a claw rake. We'll start by cutting some rebar. We'll cut 6 pieces, with the last one being longer than the rest. Sharpen the tips on the 5 and then weld them together at the base. Now we'll place this in the vise and bend each tine to a 90-degree angle. Then we'll weld our last piece onto the end. We'll use our lathe to give our rake a nice wooden handle. If regular nails won't hold this board down, try using rivet nails. If the vinyl starts to come off of this MDF, just use a bit of hot glue and then press it down with a block of wood. Our Wi-Fi signal isn't as strong as we'd like it to be. We can cut open this can of soda and flatten it out. Then place it behind the antenna for better reach. If we need to inflate this air mattress, we can use an industrial vacuum cleaner to help us out. We'll install the hose on the opposite side so that it blows air. And in case the hose doesn't fit to the mattress, we can use this old adhesive tube to make an attachment. Tape the tube to the vacuum hose and then connect it to the mattress. Now we just let the vacuum pump in the air. Our jigsaw has a fan that creates a bit of air. Using this plastic fitting, we can direct the air down to the front of the blade to keep the dust from getting stuck inside of the blade. Our next project is a stand for fishing poles. We'll need a PVC pipe and some foam tubing. We'll mount the PVC pipe onto the bottom of the stand. Then we'll attach the foam tubing just above it. Now we can place our fishing poles just like so. If we need to attach these 2 pipes at a right angle, we can use a pair of scissors to act as a compass to give us a rough guide where to cut. It should look something like this before, and it should look like this after the pipe's been cut. A little trick to keeping pizza a bit warmer on the drive home is just to turn on the seat warmers. You can use a binder clip in cases where you've lost the plastic cover to prevent the razor from accidentally making any cuts. To prevent this board from splitting, you'll want to drill a pilot hole beforehand. You can do this by drilling a bit in reverse. We can use this piece of plastic to ensure clean cuts with our jigsaw. We'll attach the plastic shield to the bottom of our jigsaw using some double-sided tape. Now when we make our cuts, the wood doesn't chip. Try flipping the wrench after every turn for maximum leverage. If we want to cool down a can of soda a bit faster, we can wrap a few napkins around the can and then wet the napkins and then place it in the freezer. After about 30 minutes, our soda will be nice and cold.